and and backend right inside it, enabling users with basic knowledge of coding to build apps like never before. So it's a app builder platform which will be more beneficial for the early stage startups like you to develop your application. So we are joined by the CEO and founder of Blup. So we welcome Sahaj for today's session. So over to you.
Thank you, Murnal, for inviting me for this session. First of all, I just want to let you everyone know that this would be an open-ended kind of a session. So please feel free to ask any kind of questions if you have. And before I begin, if everyone of the startups could introduce themselves, kind of like just let us know regarding like what they are working on. I think for me it would be much better to understand how I could help you out.
Sure, we can start with Kapil. He is first on my screen. Kapil, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hope I'm audible.
Uh, yes, you're on.
Yeah. So, hi, myself Kapil, and I'm from Guard. So, basically, as the name suggests, so we are into the air purification system, and we do some patented technologies. And for the software part, we are planning to use IoT in our solutions. So, yes, it will be a hardware and software combination for getting the readings or the AQI along with the verification.
What specifically are you trying to resolve in your startup right now? What is the biggest pain point right now for you?
Okay, so biggest pain point of today's scenario in Indian market is we are using purifiers. Hope you might be having one in your home also. So all the air purification units which are for the residential segment, they all are using mechanical filtration or HEPA filtration, which are not cleanable, not reusable. So our patented technology is kind of electronic filters, and it's a washable type. You can reuse it, wash it, reuse it. So it will reduce environmental impact also, because once we are using a mechanical filter, after 6 months, 9 months, we are throwing it out as a dump. So they duly impact the environment as well as the creating pollution. Our solution is washable. So once you wash, it will regain its efficacy at a day zero. So one is that, and second one is we are blending IoT with that device, so that, for example, if you are about to reach home, you can just switch on your air purifier before reaching home. That is a simple feature which is nowadays coming up with any electronic device like ACs or whatsoever is there. And simultaneously, you can get the AQI readings on your mobile app, that what are the readings before switching on the purification device and after the after 15 minutes or 10 minutes. And moreover, our technology is of active and passive type, so you don't need to buy any other technology for air sanitization. So like, for example, if you're using sanitizers based out of chemical, so for surface disinfection you don't need that. And moreover, the odor VOC inside the home or premises, that can be eradicated. For example, if you have pets, so that pet smell is there in in every pet owner's home, so that will be eradicated.
Got it.
Okay, thank you, Kapil. Thank you for this wonderful introduction of your startup. Next is Yash Srivastava from Trading Trends. Hello, Yash.
Yeah, hi sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Sorry, I joined late. So, like, can you just give me an idea, like, what we have to tell? Like, is it about the startup or like what kind of product we are developing?
Yeah, sure. Yes. I generally wanted to understand was like the startup that we are going to interact with, so that we understand their pain point. So if you could help us to understand like what you are doing and what are your pain points right now, so it would help me to cater to a kind of like a general consensus, so that I can help you out in that.
Okay, sure. We have this platform, which is a social blogging platform. We use artificial intelligence to help people create content easily and earn from it. So you can understand it like more of a YouTube for written articles. We have various AI applications which push the content into the SEO as fast as it can. So most probably we are working upon three major things: how we can make the content creation easy, how we can make the distribution easy, and third part, how a person can generate revenue from it. So presently, this is in working phase. We have around 15,000 creators right now on the platform, 2 crore readers, that is 2 crore traffic, and most of our creators are earning from it. Next phase is where we are going to provide the same similar solutions to the businesses. Most of the businesses like create their blog or website in order to get the SEO traffic, but at the same time, they invest a lot of time into the social media. So we are kind of coming up with new CMS which will combine both of those things. So yeah, this is what we are doing. We have built our platform, it is already working, and a lot of things are happening in the back end. uh, Going forward, like in terms of product development and all, so the only challenge that we face most of the time is we really want to build a lot of things which we have in the pipeline, but we have less human resource in order to do that, and that is why it takes a lot of time for us to reach to that point.
Thank you for the introduction. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. Yash. Next is Mayank from Easy Park.
Hey Mrinal, hi Sahaj. So we are Team Easy Park, and we are solving the parking problem which we see around us, and we are providing solution to mall owners and various other entities where they can resolve their parking issues. So we have built a software which can help them in resolving those issues like check-in, check-out, and generating the reporting, see the revenue leakage, collection of amount via digital mode instead of collecting the cash. So all these kind of things we are doing, and we have already onboarded 4 to 5 clients, and few of them are in progress. So yeah, that's overall we are doing.
Okay, got it. And what are the challenges right now you are facing if we talk about like the product development and
So Sahaj, in case of product development, we are always trying to implement or high scalable solution. But right now, because we have limited specific clients, so we know they are asked. But what if new clients are coming and they are having a different ask? Then how to make sure that whatever we are building is scalable and should support all the clients? So that kind of journey we are trying to build, and every time whenever we onboard a new client, we see a different set of ask or requirements. So sometimes it becomes difficult to rework every time.
makes sense?
Thank you, ma'am. So next is Parikshit from Happy Sips.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Parikshit, founder
Parikshit.
of Happy Sips. So, as name suggests, it's a beverage brand which includes sips and which is totally we are working on a caffeine-free thing which comes from nature. So, we are working on a herb which is chicory, and it is totally caffeine-free and nicotine-free itself from the nature, and it tastes almost to coffee. Currently, we are facing a problem of customer acquisition.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So is it a kind of like a offline kind of thing, or is it like technically enabled solution that you're trying to build? Is it, or is it just
No, no, no. It's
B2C kind of thing?
like you have your Nestle jar at your home, just same like powder, the powder we are selling.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And through Amazon's all these
Yeah, we have
distributors?
listed ourselves on GeoMart, Amazon, Flipkart, Cred, and our own website also.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Parikshit, for your introduction.
Okay. So next is Pokrash from Cubotic.
Hi, Brunel. Morning, Saj.
Morning.
My name is Pokraj, and I am the CTO for Team Cubotic. So actually, we're working on health tech space. We are working for the AI-enabled early detection of breast cancer. So this is, the solution is depends upon the mammograms. So whenever the mammograms, is happening, so आंखों देखी जो होता है, I mean, like, doctors has there are some limitations in human, I mean, detection that sometimes it is missed, the chances of the cancers, I mean, detection of the cancers. So we are doing this early detection of cancer based on the mammographic images. These are AI enabled stuff, and this is the technology, I mean, platform we are building on this to detection of the cancers. Yeah.
And what are the challenges currently that you are facing?
Challenges means, see, I mean, I discussed with Nunal, and the thing is that whenever, I mean, there are some, I mean, mammograms is required, to train the model, right? So which mammograms is infected, which mammograms is not infected, I mean, it's fresh. So the thing is that whenever we are asking for the soft copy of the digital mammograms from the hospitals, they are, I mean, reluctant to share the images, because they are telling that, I mean, hospitals are telling that, if they can share the mammograms, they I mean, all the, patient details will be disclosed. So
Mm.
that challenges we are facing, but the thing is that we have already developed that, prototyping. The models is being ready, only the training part is pending, and we are pushing for the trainings with the hospital. So that is the only challenges we are facing. Yeah. And now, I mean, we have checked, I mean, some demo mammograms that we got earlier from the hospitals from Tata Cancer. So, and that was, we are getting some 97 to 98% accuracy whenever we are detecting these things.
So, like you are just, what are these, like X-rays or simple images?
No,
Like,
it's a digital 3D images for mammographic, I mean, mammogram images. Yeah.
okay, got it.
That is a soft copy of these things. That is a diaphragm soft copy. So that we are not getting these things. We are, I mean, as Mrunal also suggested me. So I'm pushing with the hospitals, sitting with the doctors, head of the department, HOD, to, to getting to make them convinced that if we can get some 200 pieces of, mammogram copy, so that we can train it. And then we have make, we are also doing this thing, that self-trained model. We are developing the self-trained model. If someone, I mean, test these images, automatically it will train itself, to make it more robust. So that we are also doing this thing. Yeah.
Mm. Have you tried to get data from the internet, like
Yeah.
from some
Y-
third-party providers, something like that?
yeah, I mean, we got the data from Kaggle. Okay,
Mhm.
but the Kaggle data is not authenticated. So we send a mail to Kaggle, but Kaggle is not, I mean, replied it back. They are telling that, okay, this data is fine, but we cannot authenticate, and we cannot say that this data is fully 100% authenticated. They cannot say that one, number one. And number two, I send a mail, I mean, make a post on LinkedIn, but I have not got any such reply one to one also to get back these things. If anyone can help, to get me this mammograms, so my product will be ready within a month. So that is the only challenges I'm facing. Yeah.
I think we will get back to it. I think there
Yeah.
might be some ways to
Yeah.
get
That is
it
what.
done.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prokraj.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Pokraji. Actually, we already resolved your query. We will be setting up a meeting with the person soon.
Okay.
So,
Thank
okay,
you.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Monalji. Okay. Thank you.
So next is Rahul Bola from Studio Gama.
Hi everyone, I am Rahul Bhola. We are based in Jammu right now, and we are a team of conservation architects. So basically, we work for government agencies, majorly like Archaeological Survey of India and tourism departments, where we are making conservation management plans for heritage sites. And using drone technology, we are making 3D models and giving the recommendation how we can conserve the heritage better. So the challenges what we are facing right now is team building and the infrastructure required. Like we use drones and lidar for mapping. So presently we are like hiring the infrastructure and doing it. That sometimes make issues. The availability is a issue. So we are planning to have in-house infrastructure for this. So we are working in that end. Thank you.
Okay, so that was the last one from the club. So we can over to you, Sir.
Thank you, Murnal. Thank you guys for your introduction and letting us know regarding what you are working on and what problems you are facing right now. So to move forward, uh, just in a startup building process, there are like multiple areas that we have to take care of. So everything starts from the idea. So first part comes along with the ideation. If your whatever you are planning to build, is it worth it? Is it $1 billion idea, or like is it not? And how you can make your idea into $1 billion? what are the process to get to that point. And second is the product development. Once you get to understand like what the thing that you need to work on, and then how you can implement it, that is where product development cycle comes in. And once you are going through the product development cycle, launches also are one of the very essential part that we kind of like go through in a rush, and we actually don't pay attention to how important the launches are. And after launches, major points are like fundraising, how you can if you raise those funds, how you have to raise those funds and use them efficiently. And and once you have those funds, you get the team, and then the working cultures become a major part to look into. And once you are into the working culture, you have those funds and you have actually built the product efficiently, you might get to a point where you are onto the point of series A and plus, and then you go to the growth stage. So, but for the today's conversation, I will just focus on the three parts, the initial parts, the ideation, product development, and the launches. So, to let's just start from the ideation and how we can refine our own idea and work through it. So, ideation, like I said, like you have to first ask yourself, is your startup going to be $1 billion one? Because most of the investors look at that and before investing into a company. So, you might have heard about the 0 to 1 kind of like the term. So you have to understand if it is $1 billion idea or not. You have to first look into the concept of zero. Is your idea a 0 to 1 or one to many? So to give you an example, just think of a shoe company. So let's say you create a shoe company now, which is going to be one of the shoe companies that are already out there. So it is going to be just thousands, one in the thousands, not a new one. But if we talk about the companies like Nike when they started, so when they started was like there were not many companies that were doing what they were doing, and that's where they created the 0 to 1. They created their own market space, and that's how it is done. So you can take companies like Apple as well. So Apple and Microsoft both started personal computing. At that point, there was no personal computing going on, just the IBM, and it was for kind of like the big companies that they were doing all those things. So so the major point is to get yourself into a point where your market space is not one too many, but zero, and you are the first one to create it. So so we will come back to this thing ki how we can do it. So the point is ki to create the 0 to 1. So the first essential question you have to ask yourself is ki what is the important truth about your business that very few people agree with you on. So the uh, if you can answer this question, I would say ki you can create your own moat. So what happens is if a lot of people agree with what you are trying to create in a startup, then it means someone has already done it because it is a agreeable fact out there. So if you try to go with the kind of like a perspective where you have your own kind of like a point of view and you try to establish that, I think that creates a much more compelling 0 to 1 kind of the idea. So if I take an example of Facebook, so Facebook was the first company to crack identities, social identities. Before that, most of the companies were mostly into the virtual kind of identities. So over there, you have to create your like profiles, and you either be a cat, dog, or something like that, but not your actual profile were kind of could be verified. But the Facebook was the first one that made it verifiable. So that was for the Mark Zuckerberg. So for him, cracking the this thing, this kind of like the online identities and making sure those are verified ones was the kind of like the truth that he was looking for. If you go through his biography, and so that is one thing if you want to understand and get into that point. And the final thing is that most of us are not very aware of is your as a startup goal should be not to create a competition, but to create a monopoly. So what I would suggest is go towards the business models where you can create a market space where you are the only kind of like the player. And I will get to the point where how you can create it, but this is the point I think that you should take care of, to focus on creating the monopoly rather than competing with other people, and focusing on that. So what are the ways you can improve your idea and remove the competition or reduce it? So first point would be just forget about the competition and embrace your value creation for the customer. So focus on like what the pain point of the customer is, and try to create the value around that. So and to do that, you have to first understand your market space. So once you understand your market space, then you can actually create a different kind of business models where you can make sure that the competition is not doing exactly what you are. So to get to that point, this is called blue ocean strategy. So what happens is most of the people just talk about like how you can create value proposition, how you should create the new value proposition. But it is not just about creating the new value proposition. It is also about eliminating the existing value proposition that is out there, that competitors are already doing. And so there are four things that you have to take care of. Elimination, what you can eliminate that already the existing industry is doing, what you can raise. So what are the industry standards that you can raise? And third one will be the reduction. So what is the industry standards or processes that you can reduce so that you can reduce your cost on those areas. And finally would be the creation. Creation should be the last point, and where you add the value added services and you can add something to it. So to give you kind of like a example of how and what I mean exactly. So if we talk about the US wine industries in 1990s, so what happened was there was two segment of these wines. So one was premium wines, and second was the budget wines. So for the premium, like over here, like you can see, x-axis is are the industry standards, kind of like the terminologies, and on the y-axis it is like how much they are doing on 0 to 100 level. So if I talk about the price, so budget wines obviously they were priced low, and premium were priced higher. And if we talk about the terminology, so premium wines used to use many terminologies that we are from French, or we are Russian, or something like that. And they had very lot of kind of like the subcategories and lot of things. So for a person to actually understand what wine is, they have to first do a whole course of it. It was very hard for a person newcomer to get into this thing. And for the budget buying as well, it was quite overwhelming for a new person to come into the and get the wine. So if we talk about the marketing, premium wines used to do a lot of marketing. Budget wines not that much, but they used to do it quite high. If there was one category called wine art prestige, so it was like how good your kind of like those grapes are. The wine is made up of grapes, so how good those grapes are. So kind of like those. Then aging quality of the wine, then the complexity, how complex that wine is created, and finally how many ranges are there. So like how many types of different wines are there in the market. So this what used to be there. So there was this company called Yellowtail, which is an Australian company, which came in and they understood the market, like what is going on. And what they did was they eliminated, if I talk about like those four aspects. So what they did was they eliminated the aging qualities. They removed the aging perspective, ki how old the wine is. They removed the all the hard terminologies, ki this is from French or this is from here, and what are all those terminologies. And and they removed the kind of like the marketing, where what happened was ki those premium wines and the budget wines, they used to market on the shelf area. They used to market a lot because the more the wine is on the shelf in front of the customer, the more it will be sold. So that is the part that they remove. And what they these were the part that they eliminated completely. And if I talk about the reduction, so they reduced the wine complexity, wine range, and the vineyard prestige. So they reduce these parts, so that they don't have to focus on these things, because if a newcomer is coming in, they don't care about the complexity of the wine, or what is the range of the wine, or the where it came from. And what they understood was ki they have to increase the price in place of those budget wines. But what they also added was the retail store involvement. So they captured the market by contracting with those retail stores and getting in touch with them. And plus, the major point that they added was making sure that the person that is coming in into this market, it becomes very easy and fun, kind of like a experience for him to choose a wine and not very complex and burdensome. So that is where they created kind of like this kind of a graph for themselves. So if you look at the price, it is higher than the budget wines, but lower, way lower than the premium ones. And if I talk about the intriguing kind of like those terminologies, they kind of just eliminated them. They made it very simple, very sober, and you don't have to think about it too much. Like you can see in this image, these are the yellowtail wines that came in, and they reduced the marketing cost. They were mostly just putting it out there and not, they didn't created the banners out on the roads or something like that. They just went directly to the retail market and give it to them. And they reduced the wine prestige as well and aging quality. So that was removed, the complexity and the range. And what they improved was on making sure that it is easy to drink, and a person who is selecting a wine, they don't have to think too much about it. And it is much more fun and vibrant when you look at it. So that is where they created their kind of like the whole different segment, and they removed the competition from what was going on. And that's how you could actually do it yourself as well. So to give you another example of Starbucks, so if you look at the conventional kind of like the coffee shops, so just think of it like in a sense where we drink tea from simple thalas or something like that. So what happens is the price is very low of those thalas. They provide you with those cup of tea or cup of coffee. Location, you can find them almost everywhere, but you have to go to those places. Variety, you don't have any variety. You just have a single one. You just take it and that's it. Commodity, it is so easy to get it that it is commoditized, and anyone can buy a cup of coffee and they can get it done. Quality is kind of like the average. You don't get too high of a quality, not too low, but it is good. And barista training, so it is kind of like the person who is serving you, he is not actually that trained, and he's just going to serve you whatever he has created. So that is where Starbucks came in. So what they removed was commodity, so they made it very pricey, and made sure ki, it is limited to very limited set of people. And what they raised was the location, so like you can easily find them. Maybe it is not true in India that much, but if you go in US and all those places, it is much more easier to find Starbucks out there. Price, they increase the price, they increase the barista training. So if you go over there, they understand you, they help you to choose them, and kind of take care of the customer that comes in, and introduce a lot of variety, which was not there previously. And what they reduce was the roast quality. So what happens is if you go towards the roast one, so it becomes very hard for a company to take care of it. So, so to give you a formula of reduction, just think of it like the places where you can reduce your cost. Look at your industry, what the competitive spaces, and look into like what are they doing and how you can reduce the cost that is incurring for your customer. And if you reduce those costs, the profits will increase. So that's the major point of the reduction. And creation is you create something new, which is not out there. What they created was community atmosphere. There was no community before of coffee loving people, but now that's what they created. So this is how kind of their chart looked like. So they increased the price too high. There were a lot of locations, a lot of varieties. Commodity become very less for the people to purchase them. So it was not that easy for a person to buy. They it was kind of, if you go to the Starbucks, it is okay quality, not too high. And barista training, they trained the people who serve the coffee a lot as compared to normal ones. Community employee care and the social responsibility was the area that they introduced. And this is what mostly we know Starbucks for. We think Starbucks is just a brand, and that's why we know it. But the thing is that a brand is created by adding the values and reducing what has been previously done. So these are kind of like those basic components of how you can create your own brand, and kind of like create your own value proposition, so that you come into a category of 0 to 1, not from one to many. So these are kind of like the ideation kind of things that you can go. If anyone has any questions, I can answer them. Okay.
Anyone wants to ask anything?
Yeah, I have a question, Saj.
Yeah,
Uh,
yes.
so, like what we have generally seen कि Starbucks मतलब is a already a brand. उसके बाद हम लोग जब ये सब चीजें निकालते हैं ब्लू ओशन स्ट्रेटजीज, तब हम इन सब चीजों को प्लेस आउट कर देते हैं, राइट? बट एज अ स्टार्टअप जब हम ये सारी कम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज निकालना स्टार्ट करते हैं, देन मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम व्हाट वी थिंक इज कि हम क्या डिफरेंट कर रहे हैं कंपिटिटर से, बट आई थिंक वो कस्टमर या यूजर को शायद उस वजह से हमारा प्रोडक्ट या हमारा प्रोडक्ट नहीं बाय करते हैं। मतलब यू आर गेटिंग व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से, लाइक कि एज एन स्टार्टअप जब हम ये सारी कम्पिटिटिव एडवांटेज निकालते हैं, हमें लगता है कि हम अपने कंपिटिटर से इन चीज़ों में बेटर कर रहे हैं, बट आफ्टर सर्टेन टाइम वी रियलाइज कि हमारे जो यूजर्स हैं, हमारे जो कस्टमर्स हैं, they are not using our product because of the competitive advantage that we have mentioned. So जो सक्सेसफुल यूज केसेस हैं उसमें तो हम कुछ भी पुट डाउन कर देते हैं। आपने स्टारबक का जो एग्जांपल दिया, लाइक इसमें तो बहुत सारी चीजें हम पुट डाउन कर सकते हैं। एज अ स्टार्टअप जब हम इन सारी चीजों को देखते हैं तो व्हाट आर योर व्यूज कि हम उसको कैसे नैरो डाउन कर सकते हैं, कैसे उसके ऊपर बेटर स्ट्रेटजी निकाल सकते हैं?
Yeah, so I would say कि talking to the customer is the major point. So the scenario that you have mentioned happens if you are just creating your value chain without talking to the customer. So you have to talk to your customers in creating this whole process, and think of it more on a point कि customer को क्या चाहिए as compared to कि competitor क्या कर रहा है. So I mentioned the competitor because it becomes easier for you to understand ki how this works. But the whole process should be ki you understand ki okay, say there is a customer and they have some kind of a problem. Um, let's say Zomato का एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं। तो अगर मान लो मैं कस्टमर हूँ तो मेरे को खाना चाहिए। सो गो विद दैट पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू कि अच्छा ठीक है, अगर मैं कस्टमर हूँ मुझे खाना चाहिए, तो हाउ वी कैन हेल्प हिम टू रिजॉल्व दैट। अभी क्या हो रहा है कि कस्टमर को शॉप्स पे जाना पड़ता है या फिर रेस्टोरेंट जाना पड़ता है अपने ऑर्डर के लिए। तो what they did is कि they provided the customer with an experience जहाँ उसको जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, and they provide that thing. So what they did was they reduced, or you could say eliminated the going part कि जहाँ पे तुम्हें जाना पड़ रहा है। So you have to see कि जो तुम eliminate कर रहे हो ना, वो problem हो customer की, not the benefit of the customer. So that is why you have to make sure कि you are directly interacting with your customer and making sure कि तुम उसकी जो उसको अच्छा लगता था वो ना रिड्यूस कर दो, बल्कि तुम्हें वो रिड्यूस करना है which is the pain point of it, which the existing people are not resolving. Kind of like that.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
I don't want to take too much time because others are also here. But अभी तक मेरी इसमें ये अंडरस्टैंडिंग थी कि लाइक साइमन सीक का एक बहुत अच्छा उन्होंने एक कर्व बताया था कि जिसमें आप स्टार्टिंग के कुछ लोग इनोवेटर्स होते हैं, फिर अर्ली अडॉप्टर्स आते हैं, लेटर अडॉप्टर्स आते हैं। तो उन्होंने बोला था कि अगर आप 18 इट वाज 13 और 18% मार्केट, अगर आप स्टार्टिंग 18% मार्केट को अगर आप कैप्चर कर लेते हो अपनी, then your product is something which will be adopted by early adopters, late adopters, and उसके बाद laggards आते हैं। तो 18% is something where we target, जिसमें स्टार्टिंग के 5% इनोवेटर्स होते हैं कि लाइक जो कुछ भी नई चीज ट्राई करने के लिए रेडी होते हैं। तो अभी तक आफ्टर वेरियस एक्सपेरिमेंट्स एंड एवरीथिंग, आई अंडरस्टैंड इट मोर ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ कि जो मेरी मार्केट के 18% लोग हैं जो इनिशियली मेरा प्रोडक्ट ट्राई करना चाहते हैं, मुझे उनको टारगेट करना है। एंड उनको मे बी कुछ नई चीजें इफेक्टिव पसंद आती हैं, या कोई ऐसी चीजें हैं जो दे जस्ट वांट टू ट्राई न्यू थिंग्स। मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस में व्हाट आई हैव फाउंड इज कि अगर यूजर हमें बोल रहा होता है कि हमें ABC चीजें पसंद हैं, दैट डजंट बॉइल्स डाउन टू द थिंग्स कि उनको सच में वो चीजें चाहिए होती हैं। मतलब what I have seen is कि users exactly they can't tell you कि why they are using the product. That is something that we have to understand it. But वो 18% को कैसे क्रैक करना है, I have never seen कि मतलब उस चीज के ऊपर there is some formula, there is something. I think these all strategies are very good when we have established ourselves, जब हमारे पास चीजें हैं, जब हमारे पास एक reputation है, सब चीजें हैं, so I was asking on the basis of that कि you know उन users को कैसे हम break down कर सकते हैं, कैसे target कर सकते हैं, but I get it, मतलब जो आप example दे रहे हो Zomato and everything का, so
Yeah, so I think before coming to anything, I would say कि सबसे पहला point should be कि are we resolving the pain of the customer? अगर हम कोई चीज solution ला रहे हैं तो solution का मतलब होगा कि वो किसी problem को solve कर रही है. So what I will suggest is कि first look for, are you able to solve the problem of the customer? Or if you are able to solve the problem of the customer, so what he will say is कि अच्छा ठीक है मेरा यहाँ पे solve हो रहा है, लेकिन what is the extra thing he is getting? So that is where these things come in. But first of all, you have to solve his basic problem. तो क्या होता है कि जैसे होता है कि that's what the thing is कि you start from the niche. पहले तुम 100 लोग लाओ, उनको तुम खुश करो, then you increase your whole community. So the thing is कि first try to solve their problem. Don't think about these things. These things come in a little later stage जब तुम उनका बेसिक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने का तरीका समझ जाते हो कि ये एक तरह से मान लो दिस इज लाइक अ रैपर above what you have created the solution. This is not the actual product. So फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वुड से कि मैनुअली सारा काम करो. मैनुअल में कि तुम जाओ उसकी जो तुम्हें लग रहा है कि उसकी जो प्रॉब्लम है ना उसको मैनुअली सॉल्व करो. वंस यू सॉल्व दैट प्रॉब्लम मैनुअली यू विल बी एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड कि उसकी क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम थी, उस पूरे प्रोसेस में क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम हुई, and how you can improve it, and that's how you start building upon it, and you will get to know insights more कि उसको मैं कैसे improve कर सकता हूँ. And this will be something that you will eventually come to. This is not something कि you have to do अलग से, लेकिन something that you will eventually come to, but that could be something that would be या तो तुम intuitively कर रहे हो उसको, दिमाग में है, मतलब तुम्हें डायरेक्टली पता नहीं लेकिन सबकॉन्शियसली हो रहा है वो. और सेकंड होता है यू डू इट स्ट्रेटेजिकली वे यू अंडरस्टैंड कि यूजर को क्या क्या प्रॉब्लम आई थी, यू सॉल्व देयर प्रॉब्लम एंड यू क्रिएटेड स्मॉल यूजर बेस, स्टार्ट फ्रॉम देयर एंड देन ग्रो इट. तो मैं बोलूंगा कि फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल ट्राई टू सॉल्व देयर प्रॉब्लम. अगर तुम उसकी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर पा रहे हो एंड दे आर पेइंग यू फॉर सॉल्विंग दैट प्रॉब्लम, आई थिंक पेमेंट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. अगर यू आर नॉट गेटिंग पेड फॉर रिजॉल्विंग द प्रॉब्लम, आई थिंक कि वो तुम्हें सही आंसर नहीं देंगे. अगर वो तुम्हें पे कर रहे हैं तो इसका मतलब है कि वो सही में उनकी प्रॉब्लम रिजॉल्व हो गई. और आई थिंक दैट इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट वे टू अंडरस्टैंड कि जो तुम करना चाह रहे हो इज द राइट थिंग और नॉट, इफ दे पे यू.
okay.
आई यस, एनी अदर थिंग you want to ask?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Yash. Okay, so moving forward regarding the product development. So this is all about like how we can improve our whole product cycle and how we can go about it. So for the product development, I'm talking about majorly in just the software development. If you are a tech-enabled startup and looking to create a software, like how to go about it. So there are like multiple ways to build a software. So first of all, could be like you are the technical co-founder or you have one. So what happens is like you all guys might already know about it. You have to majorly define what is the minimum kind of bare minimum things that you need in order to launch as fast as possible. So what happens is we kind of get into this loop where we think कि अच्छा मैं ये भी ऐड कर देता हूँ, मैं ये भी ऐड कर देता हूँ, and we just drag the whole cycle for like 7 to 8 months or maybe more than a year, and we are not even able to launch it. So like I talked about it initially, you have to talk to your customers and take out your whatever you have created. And the best way is to start manually. Don't get too much into bog down into कि यार मैं ये भी बनाऊंगा, मैं automated system बनाऊंगा, ये सब. Just take it, solve the problem, and then build upon it one step at a time. So and the last point would be to move fast. Build it, go to the customer, understand कि वो क्या कर रहे हैं, and then again get those feedback and put it in there. If you don't have a CTO, you are looking for one. So I would suggest like just get someone into your network. Jitna you already have worked with that person would be much more better. Agar you get someone who you have not worked with at all, I think that might create problems later on the stages that you guys might already know. The I think some of the points additional I would say ki is the founders agreement. So make sure that once you get a CTO, you create a kind of like the founders agreement, And before, if you're getting someone, before making them the CTO, I would say ki just build something with them first, and then come to the equity part or something like that. But I would say ki just first build it and do it offline, like sitting together, not remote, because remotely what happens is you don't actually understand the nature and the way they work, and if you are compatible with them for a long period of journey, because startups takes around 5 to 7 to 10 years of a journey. So it is much better if you understand them first. If you are going to hire a team, I would say ki that would be most expensive path. Like if you hire a single person, let's say you spend like 5 lakh per year. If you hire multiple people, and even if you went to a stage of 5 to 6 people, it can go like 50 lakhs or more per year. It is the most expensive path, and slowest as well, because you have to hire the person, you have to cater to their problems, and you have to understand them. It takes a very slow path towards the execution. And I would say to go to this path if you understand the person that you're hiring. So let's say you are hiring a technical person and you don't know anything about the technicality, then it might become very hard for you to judge if he is a good person or not, and what you are going to pay him is going to be good or not. So I would say just work with him for some time, get something built, and then make it kind of like the permanent kind of a thing. And yeah, finally, I would say work offline, not remote. Remote makes it not apparent for you to understand the person. If you work offline, it is the best way to do it. Finally, if you hire an agency, I would recommend it for a kind of like the person or a company who is just starting out, because you don't have to spend that much while you are in place of hiring. I would say getting it done with the agency is much better for your initial products, because you can get started as soon as you sign the contract with them. So that is one point, and you don't spend money on wasteful resources. Like if you even hire someone and you didn't like them, you have to remove them, then you have to rehire, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of capital as well. And with the agency, make sure you keep the track of their progress, what they are doing, and how you can understand like what the whole process is, and define the milestones as well with them. Okay, we need this much of an application by this time and by this time, and I think that would be much better. If I talk about the launches, let's say you have built the product and how you should make your launches correctly. So when to launch? People talk about the MVP. So I would say MVP is something as soon as you have something that is better than what is out there. So and you don't have to perfect it in the initial time. What happens is we get bogged down in making sure everything works and everything is perfect. I would say make sure you have your product solves the problem of the user, and just give it to them and let them tell you like what is going wrong, and then you provide them with the solution by that way. So what I have seen with the launches is we don't define the bare minimum part that we have to get done before we launch. So what happens is, because we don't write it down, we keep on adding new stuff into it, and because of that, the whole cycle goes too long. And and what happens is most of the companies can't even launch, and their whole cash get burned out before even launching. So I would say just define the bare minimum functionalities and launch as soon as possible. Make sure that your development cycle is not more than 2 months if you are making a simple application. Um, you are a tech enabled startup, not a like a technical startup. And if you are creating a complex application, then I would say take around 6 to 7 months building it, not more than that. And the subsequent ones, if you are once you have launched, just launch those kind of like those features in 2 to 3 week cycle, and not make it much more than that, because your customer might not stick with you if you are not solving their problem again and again. So the shorter the cycle, the more they will feel like you are working on it regularly. Biggest mistake, I think, apart from that, what we do is making launch as a mega event, and making sure it is some kind of a perfect opportunity to launch. I would say कि most of the startups need kind of like the multiple launch to get their product right. And like you might not even remember like when the Facebook launched first time, and when any of the product that you know or the companies that you know right now, when did they launch for the first time? No one remembers that. They remembers them only when they start solving their problem and provide a value for what they are doing. So I would say ki launch multiple times, and each launch make sure that those are like a drum roll kind of things. So all these subsequent launches that you do, make a drum roll kind of thing. So drum roll is ki you put it on Twitter, you put it on LinkedIn, and all your networks, like we are launching it, and make sure ki it is a kind of like put effort in each launches that you do. That is how it should be done, and not just the silent ones, and no one knows like what is. And as a founder, I would say you might also know about this thing, but something that we forget most of the time is there are just two things that matters as a founder is talking to the users and building the product. So, and if you are doing something else, I would say don't do it. If you're doing it, it is not something that is going to be helpful for your startup. Finally, I would say product development is a sprinting marathon. So kind of like you have to sprint in short duration, but you have to sprint for a long period of time. So it is kind of like that. Um, and make sure that your launches are kind of like the milestones, not your destination. So just keep launching, even if it is a like small launches, but make sure you keep launching multiple times. It keeps on. What happens is it helps you in SEO perspective as well, because if you're launching it again and again, you are making those kind of like those ripples in the social medias and all those things. And Google and all other algorithms understand ki like, okay, you are something that they have to take care of because you are putting constant and consistent effort and putting out your own content. So finally, about all this, if you anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. I would be happy to answer.
Hello, sir. I would like to go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Sharbani.
So it is about the last slide where you were talking about the product development. You said that we can hire a team initially, and that would be advisable to build a product and to keep a track of their progress also. So I am actually in this stage. I am a non-technical person, and I'm working with a team of tech guys who are developing my product. I do have a MOU signed which has milestones. I keep in touch with them, but normally what happens in between, I don't actually understand a few things what they talk about. Like there is a certain delay in the product development which I'm not being able to really understand. What do I do in this case? Because I do not have a co-founder also, and I do not have anyone who is a technical person in my present team. The team is very small. I'm the founder. There's a communication and marketing guy, and this tech team is working with me actually.
Got it. I would say ki you can first of all there are two parts to it. One thing would I would say is ki get someone technical as well with you on team. You don't have to necessarily get a person full time. You can get them like let's say an intern. So just get an intern whose background is in BTech, CS, IT, and I think he can actually help you out in understanding what is going on. And secondly, I would say is ki if you are going with the if let's say you have decided ki okay we need to launch this much of the product itne time ke andar, and they have agreed to it, and it takes time for them कि अच्छा मुझे बनाने में time लग रहा है या फिर something bug came along, just tell them to break it down into multiple launches. So अगर वो बड़ा feature work कर रहे हैं उसमें time लग रहा है, so make just tell them कि वो जो feature है उसको break कर दे multiple parts में, और वो छोटे छोटे chunks में उसको ना launch करते रहे, कि मतलब in place of making it a single complete whole, डिवाइड इट इनटू मल्टीपल पार्ट्स और छोटा छोटा उसको लॉन्च करते रहो ताकि वो कंसिस्टेंटली लॉन्च हो रहा हो, ऐसा ना हो कि वो बस बनाए जा रहे हैं और आप लोग
वही एक्चुअली वही हो रहा है कि मेरे को लग रहा है कि बनाए जा रहे खत्म नहीं हो रहा है काइंड ऑफ। और मेरे को ट्रैक भी आई एम कीपिंग ट्रैक, पर मेरे को उतना समझ भी नहीं आ रहा है कि कहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है और व्हाट इज द इशू, आई गेटिंग स्टक। तो हो सकता है कि इट इज जेन्युइन, देयर इज सम टेक्निकल ग्लिच, बट वो मेरे लिए लग रहा है कि वो आप जैसे बोले ना कि वो बनाए जा रहे खत्म नहीं हो रहा काइंड ऑफ थिंग.
Is that an agency, right? That is an agency.
या दैट इज.
I would say कि ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि वो ड्रैग कर रहे हों
और
जानबूझ
ऐसा
के
भी
भी।
हुआ है इन बिटवीन. द पर्सन हु वाज एक्चुअली डेडिकेटेडली वर्किंग ऑन इट, ही वाज वन ऑफ द पार्टनर्स. इन लोगों का 3 पार्टनर्स है, एलएलपी है इन लोगों का. तो दिस पार्टनर इज अ स्लीपिंग पार्टनर नाउ. वो शायद एक्टिवली इन्वॉल्व नहीं है इसमें एनीमोर. तो उसने जो काम किया था, जो प्रोग्रेस हुआ था, वो बीच में कहीं पे दे हैव लॉस्ट इट समहाउ. वही मेरे को कम्युनिकेट किया गया है कि उसने जो काम किया था वो अभी दे डू नॉट हैव अ बैकअप, प्रॉपर बैकअप फॉर दैट. cursory or maybe they know what they have done, he has done, but उतना अच्छे से इन लोगों ने बैकअप नहीं लिया है. तो they are maybe again they have gone back 2-3 months. So वही है, मतलब ये बैक एंड फोर्थ ना कंटिन्यूअसली हो रहा है. और इट इज मोस्टली बिकॉज ऑफ देयर सम इंटरनल टीम इश्यूज एंड maybe some technical problem. That is what I understand from
And you are
outside.
paying them monthly or like payment का कैसे कर रहे हो आप?
नहीं, वो जैसे हम लोगों ने माइलस्टोन डिसाइड किया था वैसे आई हैव ऑलरेडी पेड देम 3 इंस्टॉलमेंट्स. दे वर नॉट ऑन टाइम बिकॉज ऑफ देम ओनली, क्योंकि तब कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ था टाइम पे, तो इसीलिए दे सेड कि आप बाद में कर सकते हो. बट 3 इंस्टॉलमेंट आई हैव ऑलरेडी पेड, तो अनदर 2 इज लेफ्ट. बट लास्ट 2 आर द लंप सम्स, बिगर अमाउंट एक्चुअली, बिकॉज वो कंप्लीशन होने के बाद ही आई वुड लाइक टू, मतलब वही वैसा ही डिसाइडेड था हम लोग.
I would say कि you can try to move away from them क्योंकि अगर वो इतना टाइम ले रहे हैं then when you are going to launch and do your own business.
राइट.
So it could be कि उनकी टीम अभी functional नहीं है अच्छे से and that is why they are taking time and they are not being fully like transparent to you on what is going on. That could be a big setback, I would say. I think you should move away from them and secondly just hire an intern so that he can help you to understand कि क्या हो रहा है.
Right, that is a very good suggestion.
Sorry, Sarni.
No, I said, sir, that is a very good suggestion. I think I would need someone by this time. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Sarni. So a little bit about us, what we do. So as Karnika and Murnul has already mentioned about it, what we do is what we have done is we have created our own software which helps startups, companies to create mobile application, web applications graphically. So what happens is it reduces the amount of code that a person have to write. So if you are a technical person, you can use this platform very easily. And in place of writing like 100% of code right now, for that you for the 100% I'm talking about, you have to write the code for the UI, you have to write the code for the front end, you have to write the code for the back end, and you have to do multiple things. So what we have done is we have provided this single software where you can if you have Figma files, you can drag and drop over here and they will directly get converted into code and the application as well. Plus you can add in the logics. Get to that point. So you can design your whole screen over here like you do in Figma, or you just can drop it down. You can add in the logics, like you just have to add these multiple nodes and connect them. It makes it much more easier for you to get your whole application done. And you can even code here as well, custom logics, and you can just write your own code if you want. And you can add the third-party libraries and everything. But it is much more technical, and if you are a technical person, I think that is where it would be way helpful for you. You can add in the backend. It is real-time backend. And you can even add in the SQL queries if you want, and it makes it much more easier for a person to understand. So you don't necessarily have to go and learn AWS or any other backend. So this is built on top of AWS. So you don't have to learn AWS. You just have to use this, and everything will be structured on its own on the AWS. And finally, you can easily publish right from the software on your Play Stores, App Store, or for the web you want to host it. And this is a small kind of like a demo video of how it works.
Y'all get ready. I got a new superpower. It's gonna blow your mind. You know that I'm all about it. I'm built different, I'm a new kind. So watch me do what I do. Out with the old and in with the new. Well, this is new. This is new. Hey, I'ma show you what's next. You're gonna be amazed. I don't even have to flex to set the world ablaze. So watch me do what I do. Out with the old and in with the new. I got no limitations, it's amazing. This is new. Sure is. Hey, watch me do what I do. Well, this is new.
So yeah, that was Blup. If you are looking for any kind of like a technical kind of thing, and you have a technical co-founder, I think that is where it is much more helpful for you. And apart from that, if you don't have any technical person and if you are looking to get your app done by us, that is also the portion that we help people out in. So which is called Blup services, where we help people to get their application done through Blup experts. And what happens is in like we talked about it previously, like you either have to hire a person, outsource it, code it yourself. So if you look at this kind of like a graph of money and time, so if you hire a team, it takes the most money and most time. If you code it yourself, it takes the least amount of money, but it takes the most time because you are coding it yourself and you need a team to get it done, but you're doing it yourself. So it takes most time and less money. If you're outsourcing it with an agency, it takes a lot of money and time as well. But this is where we have created our own value chain, like we talked about it previously. So that what we have done is we have reduced the amount of money that you have to spend and the time that it takes to create the application. And what and how do we achieve it is through our own software. So what we do is we build your application using our own tool. So with that, the amount of time it takes to build the application reduces way down, plus the amount of money that you have to spend decreases. So this is what we do with the Blup services. And if you are looking to get your application done, this is kind of like our process, where we first understand your problem, what you're trying to resolve, and what are your business needs. Secondly, we define the scope of the work that needs to be done, and understand like how it is going to be formulated and taken ahead. Then we sign the contract of like how we are going to divide the whole process. And then you can easily monitor and track the process and the progress of what is going on with the milestones that we have decided. So this is basically that we do.
Yeah, I have
So
a
yeah,
question.
any questions?
Yeah. The block process, that whatever you're telling, that if anyone has a needs, to develop the mobile app, so that they can contact you and your team will understand the requirements and build the process, right? And build the app. Is that
Yeah,
so?
yeah, yeah.
So if anyone knows how to write the Android apps or iOS in iOS iPhone apps. So, is there any such facility so that they can avail the Blup services from their own? That's that possible. Because I mean, you can take my example that I know how to write the programs and I have written a lot of programs in mobile apps. So, in my case, can I apply for the Blup services so that I can avail the services, or what? How they can?
Yeah. So you are talking about Blup itself. So Blup is a kind of like a product which you can download and use. And it is for the technical people, the developers, where they don't necessarily have to write 100% of the code. They just have to write around 3 to 8%. And mostly the thing can be done visually. So that is our product, Blup, which you can download from blup.in, or we can connect together and I can help you to understand like how it works and make your process smooth. And I
I mean,
can.
is it? Is it a free? Platform, or any charges is applied for that?
Yeah, so it is kind of like a freemium model where you start by downloading and you can just try it out. And once you try it out, then there it will be a paid thing. So it is around 3,000 rupees per month and 6,000 rupees per month. Like those are the two plans, which is I would say almost nothing in what you're trying to create.
Yeah, it
And
is only the click and drag something. This thing, right? I mean, designing as well as the coding.
yeah, it is kind of like a like you can drag and drop. Plus, what you can do is like you can add in your own code. You can do most of the stuff
I
into
mean, I
this
can
one.
call the custom API, REST API from this thing, or I can add the Google, Google platforms. I mean, Google platform, Google Maps on the Android, so I can do that. Right?
Yeah, yeah. You can add anything you want. Any third-party library that you are looking for, Stripe, Razorpay, or any payments, maps, Google, anything, Firebase, like anything
Mm.
you want. uh,
Okay.
You
And
can add.
also one more thing, is it a cross-platform? Like, if I write the code in Android, so
Sorry.
automatically, if I say, for example, I'm writing a code for Android. Okay. So now my code has been developed and in Android is running fine. So if the same code I can deploy it to iPhone.
Yeah, yeah. So what we do is like we create Flutter applications. So what happens is once you create your application inside Blup, it is for Android, iOS, and also for the web if you want it.
Mhm.
So if you want your application to run on the web as well, it can be done. And you want it on the Android or the iOS, that is also
all,
done.
all the same code. Once I have to write the code and I can deploy it on several platforms.
Yeah,
No need to. I mean, okay, okay,
yeah.
I got it. Okay.
Any
Any
other?
other question? Any other
Yeah,
question from the side?
one more question. Recently, I developed one app actually for my client. The thing is that the Android app that I have developed is, it's Android 12.
Mhm.
It's not a latest version, so it was not supporting this thing. So Android has that facility, Android Studio, to downgrade the apps. I mean, to binaries and to write the codes. So I can do that in Blap also in such a way, or what? I mean, or I have to write again the codes or something like that, or to what?
Okay, got it. So if you, what happens in Blub right now is like it takes care of all the versions on its own. So that there is no mismatch in the libraries, and it becomes easier for a person to get it done. So in Flutter, what happens is there is a thing called pub.dev.
Mm,
Like you will find on npm for web applications, and for Android, I would say for Android, I don't think there is anything like that. There is Arsenal, Android Arsenal kind of like a library where
mm,
you can find most of those. So what happens is you can add in any third-party libraries. Um, and I think we are working on a portion where you can downgrade yourself if you want the whole kind of like
mm,
the whole control over like what those libraries are and what those
mhm.
versions should be. I think we can add that as well because I think
Okay,
we
so
are
okay,
working
we
on it.
can we can have a little later, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Got my point.
Any other, if anyone has any other question, anything related to product development or something that you are facing, and if you need some brainstorming, I think I can help.
So, startups generally, the kind of startups we have, mostly using the website for their marketing purpose. So you can share some insight about how they can improve their website and how they can improve the customer engagement through their platform in order to provide in order to cater the customer efficiently.
Hmm. So for that, I've not prepared the slides for it, but to give you a overall understanding, is key. If someone comes to your website, they should know what you do, and there should be a clean CTA. CTA is kind of like a button. There should be a single CTA, not multiple ones, and it should be highlighted. कि मतलब कि अगर कोई आया वेबसाइट पे सबसे पहले उसकी नजर उस पे जानी चाहिए. It should be kind of like it should be highlighted, and other things should be of lower colors. What happens is अगर तुम किसी वेबसाइट पे जाते हो तो बहुत कुछ चल रहा होता है वेबसाइट, and it distracts the person. तो मेक श्योर कि अगर कोई आ रहा है तो उसकी सबसे पहले आंखें कहाँ जा रही हैं. एंड दैट इज वन वे टू ऑप्टिमाइज इट, कि मतलब मैं कैसे ऑप्टिमाइज कर सकता हूँ इन शॉर्ट सेंस इफ आई कैन एक्सप्लेन. एंड फाइनली वुड बी द एसईओ. सो पीपल थिंक कि एसईओ इज जस्ट कि मैंने वेबसाइट पे अपना कोड ऐड कर दिया एंड दैट इज इट डन. But I would say कि SEO के अंदर also comes the blogs and everything like that, backlinks, blogs, and that is where subsequent launches comes in. So agar if you are launching after every 2 weeks or so, so what happens is you are generating more content out there in the market. और उससे क्या होता है कि गूगल को समझ में आता है कि हाँ यू आर समथिंग प्रोमिनेंट, एंड वो तुम्हारी रैंकिंग अपने आप इंक्रीज करने लगता है बिकॉज पीपल आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि तुम कौन हो और क्या चाहिए. So that is one part. And blogs writing, I think, would be much more helpful. Blogs बहुत धीरे धीरे काम करते हैं, 6 महीने लगते हैं, but you should do it consistently.
Okay, so what do you think? What are the some better platforms, like the major three platforms which generally startup use are WordPress, then we have Wix currently, and then the new Webflow, which is currently the new website development platform. So if you can share some insight about on early stage, which of this platform would be much more better for an early stage startup to create their website?
I would say कि if you already have a designer with you, I would suggest to go with the Framer. So we have also created our website in Framer. So Framer is kind of like a tool which is kind of similar to Figma. So it is like कि building something on it is way easier as compared to if you do it on Webflow or Wix. Wix में क्या है कि तुम्हारे पास already pre-built templates हो गए हैं, or even on the WordPress pre-built templates. But if you are looking for a custom solution or you wanted to have its own animations and things like that, I would suggest to go with the Framer. It provides you the, I would say, best animations, best things for the landing pages I'm talking about, not the web application जहाँ पर तुमको login करना पड़ता है उसके बाद your portal and kind of. उसके लिए नहीं है, but if you are looking for the landing pages कि मतलब कोई आए अब तुम्हारी information read कर पाए and they can download the app or something like that, तो उसके लिए Framer would be the best solution. It is framer.com. You can search and I think it can help.
Okay, and you recently talked about the bare minimum while developing early application. So if you can share some more insight about how a startup could decide what are the basic requirements they should opt for in the early days of the startup.
Yeah, so I would say कि first understand कि what is the problem that you are trying to solve of the customer. To give you an example of Instagram, so what happened was कि जब Instagram start हुआ था, they started with just the filter. There was no social media or something like that. So they started with the filter where they understood कि problem is कि लोग जब अपनी फोटो कैमरे से खींचते हैं, जो उनका जो बेसिक डिफॉल्ट कैमरा होता है उसमें कोई अच्छे फिल्टर्स नहीं है, एंड पीपल यूज फोटोशॉप और ये सारे टूल और अपना खुद का फोटो अच्छा एडिट करने के लिए. So what they did was कि they provided an alternate solution to a pre-existing camera जो डिफॉल्ट होता है. So people downloaded it just to edit their photos. और जब उन्होंने एडिट किया तो देन दे एडेड अ फंक्शनैलिटी कि लोग आके उसके अंदर अपनी सोशल मीडिया बना लें और अपना पूरा प्रोफाइल वगैरह बन जाए. अब वो एस्पेक्ट बिल्कुल चेंज हो चुका है. अब लोग डोंट यूज इट जस्ट फॉर द फोटो फिल्ट्रेशन बट फॉर एंगेजमेंट एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स. सो द फर्स्ट थिंग इज कि दैट इज व्हाट इट इज, डिफाइनिंग द बेयर मिनिमम. दे डिडंट, पहले दिन से उन्होंने ये नहीं बोला कि हमें सोशल मीडिया बनाना है. दे स्टार्टेड कि हमें पहले फिल्टर्स बनाने हैं लोगों के लिए ताकि जब वो अपनी फोटो खींचे तो वो अपने फिल्टर्स लगा सके अपनी फोटो पे. So that is kind of like the bare minimum thing you have to do. And उसका अगर मैं नॉर्थ स्टार बोलूँ कि मतलब कि हाउ वुड यू नो, उसका है कि क्या जो तुम बना रहे हो वो उसकी बेसिक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहा है. ऐसा तो नहीं उसको, मतलब जो तुम सॉल्व कर रहे हो शुड बी अ मस्ट हैव फॉर अ कस्टमर जो उसको सॉल्व करना है. इट शुड नॉट बी नाइस टू हैव. सोशल मीडिया जो है अगर मैं इंस्टाग्राम के अंदर मैं बोलूँ इट इज नाइस टू हैव नॉट मस्ट टू हैव. लेकिन जब उन्होंने कैमरा के लिए फिल्टर्स बनाए थे इट वाज काइंड ऑफ लाइक द मस्ट टू हैव फॉर द पीपल क्योंकि उनके पास कोई और ऑप्शन नहीं था. और so I think that is one part you can go with.
हेलो सर, दिस इज राहुल फ्रॉम विंसन सोलर. हमारा हार्डवेयर का प्रोडक्ट है और सोलर का हार्डवेयर का प्रोडक्ट है. छोटा प्रोडक्ट है हमारा एंड दिस प्रोडक्ट ओनली फॉर द टियर 2 सिटीज एंड रूरल एरियाज. So any marketing tip to reach there and reach that community?
Solar product for could you explain me once more, like तुम्हारा market क्या था?
मार्केट हमारा टियर 2 सिटीज है, टियर 3 सिटीज है और लाइक शॉप्स, स्मॉल शॉप्स एंड पनवाड़ीज एंड वेजिटेबल शॉप्स, छोटी छोटी जो शॉप्स हो गई अगर हम अर्बन की बात करते हैं. और इन टियर 2 सिटीज एंड टियर 3 सिटीज द स्कूल्स एंड हाउसेस, फार्मर्स हाउसेस. सो छोटा प्रोडक्ट है जो कि प्लग एंड प्ले है. दे कैन कैरी देयर सोलर प्रोडक्ट और उसके अंदर बैटरी भी है, वो अपना घर पे भी चला सकते हैं, वो अपनी शॉप पे भी चला सकते हैं. तो मुझे उनको रीच करना है थ्रू सोशल मीडिया मार्केटिंग, एनी मार्केटिंग टिप्स?
पहले मेरे को ना एक बार प्रोडक्ट समझना पड़ेगा कि ये जो आपका ये जो सुंदर चीज है, ये क्या चीज है? ये लैंटर्न टाइप है या फिर क्या चीज?
It is not a lantern type, but it is just a product with the battery and a controller inside in it. And अभी क्या होता है, सोलर सिस्टम में हमें एक इंजीनियर या इलेक्ट्रिकल इंजीनियर की जरूरत पड़ती है इंस्टॉल करने के लिए। उसमें स्ट्रक्चर की जरूरत पड़ती है, उसमें अलग से इन्वर्टर रहता है, फिर वायर्स रहती हैं। तो हमने इसे एक प्रोडक्ट बनाया, मतलब 3 in 1 प्रोडक्ट है। अब आपको वायर की भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, आपको स्ट्रक्चर की भी जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, और यू कैन जस्ट परचेज इट। एक ये बॉक्स में आता है और आप इजीली इसको अपने छत पे अपना सोलर रख सकते हैं। वायर टू वायर हमने एक बहुत अच्छे कनेक्टर्स दिए कनेक्ट करने के लिए, जो कि इजीली कोई एक लेमैन भी उसे कनेक्ट कर सकता है, और आप अपने घर पे इसे हैंग कर सकते हो। देन यू कैन स्टार्ट इट जस्ट लाइक अ टीवी, फ्रिज, और आपने ऑर्डर किया, घर पे रखा और चलाना स्टार्ट कर दिया।
I would say कि if you're talking about social media, go for the vernacular kind of thing, जो मतलब उनकी खुद की भाषा में समझाते हैं। जैसे ये बहुत सारे सोशल मीडिया है ना, जैसे एक हंगामा नाम है, आई एम नॉट रिमेम्बर्ड इट करेक्टली व्हाट इट इज कॉल्ड, जो इंडिया में जो वर्नाकुलर सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं, उनमें अगर अगर आउटरीच, अगर इफ यू ट्राई इट, आई थिंक दैट वुड बी मच बेटर, क्योंकि ये लोग यही सब टूल्स यूज करते हैं, मतलब
अभी
सोशल
हमने जैसे
मीडिया।
इंडिया मार्ट यूज किया हमने, और अभी हम अमेजोन से टाई अप कर रहे हैं वहाँ पर प्लेटफॉर्म पे बेचने के लिए। तो हमें सोशल मीडिया पे मतलब जैसे इंस्टाग्राम पे रील बना सकते हैं हम, यूट्यूब पे रील बना सकते हैं। और हमें मतलब वेबसाइट पे कैसी हमें वेबसाइट डिजाइन करनी चाहिए कि वो इजीली उस चीज को समझ सके, और दे कैन अंडरस्टैंड इट एंड दे कैन परचेज इट वाया वेबसाइट।
आपने चिंगारी वगैरह डिजाइन किया?
नहीं सर।
तो ये है ना, तुमको पहले ये चीज देखनी पड़ेगी कि जो वर्नाकुलर जो तुम्हारी जनता है वो जाती कहाँ है, अपना टाइम कहाँ स्पेंड करती है सबसे ज्यादा, मोबाइल पर। तो पहले तो तुम्हें इस चीज पर रिसर्च करना पड़ेगा कि वो अपना टाइम कहाँ स्पेंड कर रहे हैं। लोगों से सर्वे करो, उनसे समझो कि उनका क्या है, कैसे कर रहे हैं वो लोग अपना टाइम स्पेंड। और बहुत सारी एप्लीकेशंस आती है जो मुझे याद है, जो लोग यूज करते हैं, जैसे चिंगारी हो गई, जोश हो गया, मौज हो गया, ये लोग ना इधर बहुत टाइम स्पेंड करते हैं। शेयर चैट हो गया।
ओके ओके।
तो व्हाट आई विल सजेस्ट इज कि वहां पर तुम अपने एड्स चला सकते हो, या फिर जस्ट टाई अप विद सम जो होते हैं ना, उनके खुद के गांव के इन्फ्लुएंसर टाइप लोग होते हैं, जो
राइट।
लोग देखते हैं सबसे ज्यादा, उनसे अगर आप टाई अप करोगे तो उससे क्या होता है, एक तो तुम्हारी कॉस्ट बहुत कम आएगी क्योंकि वो वहीं के ही हैं, तो ज्यादा पैसे चार्ज नहीं करेंगे वो। और इट विल बी मच मोर इजियर टू सेल क्योंकि वैलिडेशन मिल जाता है कि वो वहीं
राइट।
से। आई थिंक अगर लोग तुमको जानते होंगे, इनडायरेक्ट मार्केटिंग भी होती है वेयर दे जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट यू डू, एंड जब तुम उनके पास अपना प्रोडक्ट लेके जाओगे, दे विल ऑलरेडी नो कि तुम कौन, एंड इट विल बी मच इजियर फॉर यू टू सेल टू देम।
ओके, थैंक यू।
थैंक यू।
Okay, so any other question from the startups? Okay then. So we will thank you very much for wonderful session from Suraj as well. So before we dropped out of this call, I request everyone to please turn on their cameras. We'll take a quick screenshot of it.
Sage, please put on your screen. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining today. Thank you, Sage, for taking the session.
Thank you, Kanika. Thank you, Mandal. Thank you, everyone, for joining it and going through the whole thing. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me easily. Let me just drop my email. It is sahaj@blup.in. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining today.
Okay. Bye-bye.